this speech, I will introduce to you why the Electoral College vote should be abolished and why the popular vote should be implemented. I will introduce to you what is meant by the Electoral College vote, as well as what is the popular vote. I will introduce the cons of the Electoral College and the pros of the popular vote. In conclusion, I will explain why using the popular vote method of voting is a fair and equal way of electing future presidents of the United States. The Electoral College was created so that there was a fair and equal way of selecting a president. The Electoral College was approved September 1787. The two candidates would run for office. The one with the most votes would become president, and the second runner-up will become the vice president automatically. The Electoral College is a body of electors established by the U.S. Constitution, which forms every 4 years for the sole purpose of electing presidential candidates. The Electoral College consists of 538 electors, of which 270 electors are needed to win the presidential campaign. According to Article 2, Section 1, Clause 2 of the Constitution, each state legislature determines the manner by which its electors are chosen. The number of each state's electors is equivalent to the total number of senators from each state, as well as the House of Representatives. The 23rd Amendment, ratified in 1961, also provided the District of Columbia with an opportunity to have an electoral vote. Although D.C. is not one of the 50 states, it was decided that it would receive no more than the least populated state in terms of electors. Current day, Washington, D.C. holds 3 electoral votes. What I've prepared for you is a map of the United States of America, including Washington, D.C., that shows the number of electoral votes that each state has, starting from Washington with a total number of 12, all the way to Maine with a total number of 4. And right here in Illinois, we have 20. The popular vote is the total number of votes that are cast by a candidate by the voters of all 50 states, including Washington, D.C. The candidate that gets the most vote is proclaimed the winner of the popular vote. A popular vote takes all the ballots that are cast and counts them individually and declares a winner based on those results. In the case of a tie, there are contingencies in place to determine which person will serve in the elected office. The discussion with using the popular vote for election has increased since the 2016 election, in which Donald Trump won the presidential election by securing 304 electoral votes, and Hillary Clinton had only 227 electoral votes. However, Hillary Clinton received 65.8 million popular votes, and Donald Trump received 62.9 million votes. During U.S. history, the Electoral College winner has failed to secure the popular vote 5 times. Before the 2016 election, Al Gore had 500,000 votes more than George W. Bush, yet Bush won the election. There are many reasons why the Electoral College should be terminated and should not be the result of electing our future presidents for our country. The reason for which founding fathers created the Electoral College are no longer relevant. In years past, people were not able to get out to town hall meetings or public displays where candidates would talk about or debate. Now, people have the utmost access to everything to get the necessary information and make informed decisions in ways that could not have been foreseen by our founding fathers. While Alexander Hamilton in 1788 saw the electors as being free from any sinister bias, members of the Electoral College are now selected by the political parties, and they are expected to vote along the party lines regardless of their own opinions about the candidates. The Electoral College gives too much power to swing states and allows the presidential election to be decided by a handful of states. The two main political parties, the Democrats and Republicans, can count on winning electoral votes in certain states, such as California by the Democratic Party and Indiana by the Republican Party, without worrying about the popular vote total. Due to the Electoral College, presidential candidates only need to pay attention to a limited number of states that can swing one way or the other. The Electoral College ignores the will of the people. There are over 300 million people in the United States, but only 538 votes count. Only 538 votes will decide who will be the president. The people's voices are not heard, and they're not spoken through the presidential election. There are many reasons why we should choose the popular vote in terms of electing a president. The popular vote gives each vote an equal amount of power. Under the Electoral College system of voting, the number of representatives a state has in Congress is the total number of electoral votes it's allowed. That means every state is allowed a minimum of 3 electoral votes. For example, in 2016, Florida had 29 electoral votes, yet it has 9.4 million voters, which equal to a voter value of about 0.72 per vote. Wyoming had 3 electoral votes, but had only 255,000 voters. That was a voter value of 2.85. All other elections in the United States are determined by popular votes. Everything except the presidential election. Why would the highest position in the land be determined by a different system? Also, many people choose not to vote because they believe their vote won't count. And in reality, it doesn't a lot of times. I believe that the popular vote is a fair way of choosing our president. If the president is going to be for the people and by the people, then he should be elected by the people. Anything else is simply undemocratic.